Hi there. I'm Dr. Gregory Simpson, one of the therapists for the Parent-Child Interaction Therapy program here in the Department of Pediatrics at the University of Miami's Miller School of Medicine. One of the common questions that we get from families, either before they bring their families in for PCIT treatment or once they get here, is, does my child actually need intensive therapy like PCIT, or are they simply going through a phase? It is true, we've all heard of the terrible twos, the ferocious threes. Parents are often told that the behaviors they're seeing in their children are simply developmental phases that they will grow out of. They sometimes hear this from their pediatricians, they sometimes hear this from other family members. And while that may be the case, it's always important to consider whether the behaviors or the symptoms that you are seeing in your child warrant further, more intensive services such as the ones we provide here at the Parent-Child Interaction Therapy Clinic. Some questions to ask and some things to consider are the following. So, what are the types of behaviors you're seeing in your child? For instance, if you're witnessing or experiencing aggressive behavior, are these things that are typical to the developmental stage of that child? Are you witnessing things like verbal aggression or physical aggression? Are they pushing? Are they punching, kicking, biting? Are they more severe, such as violent acts with a weapon or something like that? These are things to consider when considering whether these are appropriate to a child and a child's age. Secondly, it's important to consider whether there have been any recent changes or stressors in the family or in a child's life. For instance, has there been a change at school? Are they at a new school? Is there a new teacher? Is there a new teacher's assistant? Perhaps there's some bullying going on. Maybe there's been a change in the family, a recent addition, a new baby, a new sibling. Maybe grandma or grandpa has come to live with them or has recently left. Perhaps there's been an illness in the family. Mom, dad has been sick. Maybe there's been a recent death in the family. Children can manifest their concerns, their worries, their stresses in many different ways, often with externalizing behaviors in response to many of these stressors. Thirdly, you can ask yourself, how often is this behavior happening, and or how long has this been going on? What is the duration of this behavior? Is it something that's just started happening, that happens maybe once a day, once a week? Or is this something that's happening several times a day, every day, and has been going on for a long time? This is an important consideration in determining whether or not your child might need services. Fourth, we want to consider the intensity of the behaviors that you're witnessing and that your child is experiencing. So, are these things that are sort of mild, or are these things that are happening at an extremely high level of intensity? This is something that we actually measure here when you first come into our clinic, and it's something that we can discuss with you if you don't have a good sense or perspective on whether these behaviors are intense relative to other children. That leads to the last point, which is it's important to have other people's perspectives on your child's behavior as well. So are you getting reports from your teacher, your child's teachers, other adults that are involved in perhaps extracurricular activities, and they're describing behaviors that they don't feel like are common to other children the same age as your child? This gives you a sense of whether the behaviors you're seeing are what we would consider to be typical, or whether they may be over and above that, which require some kind of services such as PCIT. One of the most important things that we always want to consider is whether the behaviors that a child is exhibiting and what you're seeing either at home or hearing from at school, are these behaviors interfering with the child's life? Are they interfering with your life? Are they interfering with your and your child's relationship? Interference in your child's life is a very important factor in determining whether this is something that you can deal with, that you can stand, that may just go away on its own, or whether it's something that you feel like you need more intensive services in order to take care of. While the behaviors that you're seeing in your child may simply be a phase and they may go away, it is important to deal with behavior problems early in a child's life, as behavior problems have been linked to many outcomes that are detrimental in their ongoing development.